All right, so since Project B has been announced, there's been a lot of intrigue about it, and it is kind of intriguing. A new league, it's paying all this money, and the questions who was funding it and whatever. But I think what it was used for clicks the most for when it first was announced was like, could Caitlin Clark go to Project B? Will it destroy the WNBA? And this goes for Project B, Unrivaled, any other league. It's easier said than done to become a new WNBA because the WNBA has years and years of history and obviously brand recognition. The only thing that would give any other league a chance of being in the realm of the WNBA is Caitlin Clark, right? The only thing that is the one lever that could be pulled that would change the dynamics of everything just because of her popularity. Now, she could play an Unrivaled or Project B and still play in the WNBA like so many others. But let's just, if you live in a fantasy world where she says, this is my new league and I'm leaving the WNBA, that is the only thing really, other than years and years and years of good management and traction, that could change the direction and teeter the power in that way. Just because of Caitlin Clark's fan base and her, the WNBA exploded because of her. So that would be the one thing. But we now have our answer about whether Caitlin Clark is going to play Project B, at least immediately, because one of her teammates, who is not shy about spilling the tea, Sophie Cunningham, said that she tried to recruit her there because you have Aaliyah Boston does Unrivaled and Lexi Hull does Unrivaled, but Kelsey Mitchell is doing Project B, and so is Sophie Cunningham, who talked about it on her podcast, her decision to go and how her recruiting pitch to Caitlin Clark went. Here's what Sophie said.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think there's going to be a lot of people switching over.
That's cool.
So, here's my thing. So, all these leagues are great, but at the end of the day, if you don't have the W, you don't have the platform.
Right.
So, you don't have the eyes, you don't have the recognition.
That's right, Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
You have the W.
Yeah. I tried to get her to play in this one. She's like, no.
I saw Kelsey Mitchell's playing.
Yeah, which I'm super excited about.
Yeah.
Super excited to play with Kels. Or I don't know if I'll play with her, but we'll be in the same league. But so you go to 7 different markets around the world. You're only there for a certain amount of time, and then you have the rest of the time off. So I could stay in that market and travel for free pretty much.
Do you know the markets?
I do, but I don't know the exact city. So I know there's 2 in Asia, 2 in Europe, I think 2 in the North and South Americas, and 1 elsewhere.
Dude, that fucking rocks.
I'm excited because I actually miss kind of traveling the world.
Yeah.
I was in France for 7 months. I went to Australia at the beginning of my career. Loved it. You just get cultured. It's fun. And I've missed it, but I also don't want to play year round. My body can't handle it. I have other things I want to do that I'm interested in. And so this just gives me the perfect opportunity to go play, get cultured, see the world, but also be able to come home and still experience what I want to experience.
So you think it's a tasteful amount of basketball that wouldn't burn you out, but it's offering you multiple things outside of just playing basketball.
Yeah. So, and they have they're going to have the best PTs. They're just super organized.
Do you know where who's backing it? Who's what?
Well, I don't know if I'm allowed to say, but I'll just say 4 huge tech companies that are well known and they have a shit ton of money. So a lot of people think this is Saudi money, and it's not at all. Has nothing to do.
Live for whatever.
No.
There's Sophie on the record. I'm sure that's a big talking point within the Project B world. No Saudi money, no money from there. But some of the other stuff is interesting, and the traveling in the world and the stuff that appealed to Sophie Cunningham about it. And that first point she made about the WNBA, because, that is the point that Kathy Engelbert has made, which is correct. Now, Engelbert made it in relation to Clark and how she might not have gotten the endorsements without the WNBA. Now, that's according to Nafisa Collier, by the way. I don't know. We don't know. Kathy Engelbert denies making those comments specifically. But regardless, the basis of those comments is correct. There is no Unrivaled without the WNBA. There is no Project B without the WNBA. People know who these players are because of the WNBA. So, it's a lot easier said than done to make the WNBA go away, right? Everybody thinks it's just yeah, I'm gone. It'll be taken over and all that. And again, the only league that would have a chance to do that, at least in the short term, would be one that signs Caitlin Clark exclusively. But Caitlin Clark not playing in Project B, according to Sophie Cunningham, not surprising at all to me because, Caitlin doesn't have the financial need to play in any other leagues. She's making so much money off the court and endorsements. Caitlin Clark has said for the longest time, it is her dream to grow the WNBA and, have it be a place little girls want to play. She said it in her introductory press conference where she said, you wouldn't imagine what the possibilities could be. I'm paraphrasing. And she said it at every turn since. And I know a lot of fans aren't happy with the way that she's been received or treated and have turned that into a burn the WNBA to the ground. But she's never expressed that sentiment one time. I'm sure she's had frustrations, but she continues to have that mantra of the WNBA is the ideal and the dream. And she just has too much leverage. Otherwise, look, she might just have that basketball itch in the offseason, considering how long it is. And maybe one of these years she scratches it in that sense because either Unrivaled is appealing enough and easy enough, or Project B becomes something. But I don't think you'll ever see her do it in the first year, before it's been tested and proven and taken to market because of what it could mean for her brand one way or the other. And then again, she also just doesn't need it, and not that Sophie or any of the other, Sophie's making a lot from endorsements. You see all the advertisements in the back of that show there, but a lot of these other players played long careers in the WNBA salaries, and now they get a chance to get millions of dollars. Of course, that's going to be massively, a huge incentive. And I think that's why you see so far in Project B, that's been a bit of a pattern. Players that are closer to the end of their career getting another big paycheck or a big paycheck that they didn't get in their WNBA time, while Unrivaled is some of the established players who, of course, built it. And then a lot of the young players go into Unrivaled right now. But we'll see how Unrivaled versus Project B works out over the next few years, just how big Project B can be. But we did get our answer on Cece, and it won't be a group project between her and Sophie. Let's put it that way, because, just like she does with all the assists on the court for Caitlin Clark, it appears it was a project pass.